I'm very pleased to welcome you to Barcelona, a city of tourism, a city of business, a city of culture, but also a city of science. Certainly, to me as a scientist, I find Barcelona now with its many scientific clusters a place for the future of European science.
I confess that this ESOF project, among the many projects that we're running and participating in here at the Robert Bosch Foundation, has been one of my favorite projects from the early days on. Building a strong and a visible platform for the European scientific community. This was the common vision of all the partners. And I think coming from Stockholm 4 years ago, via Munich and now in Barcelona, we have already achieved a lot towards this goal.
Science isn't a discipline, it's a perspective. There's a scientific aspect to everything you can think of, from music to architecture to food. Gaudi is a perfect example here in Barcelona. You know, he was somebody who quite literally thought outside the box. Architecture was square, suddenly with Gaudi, it brought in those curves. That's exactly what happens across areas of science. Think of what's going on in neuroscience, for instance, at the moment. We're learning to think of the brain not in this broken down, compartmentalized way, but to study it as a whole, to be there and see what's happening as we think, as we feel, as we love. The great thing about science is it opens up these infinite possibilities. It takes you ever further. And when you get to the next step, you realize there's even further to go. It's a never-ending adventure.
Science in the 21st century is not just about the inner part of our most intimate lives. 50 years after the Sputnik was launched, a great deal of research is still to be undertaken. Exploring and exploiting space, looking to our planet Earth, and revealing the mysteries of the universe.
I studied the Earth's climate system, which is one of the most complex systems in nature. We developed extremely sophisticated models of the climate system and ran them on the most powerful supercomputers on Earth to study how the climate will evolve in the future. This is one of the greatest scientific challenges of our time. We can use our models to predict how climate will evolve in the future and how this will affect natural ecosystems and human societies.
Ecologists are trying to understand the effects of climate change. I work in forests that are regenerating after big wildfires. I spend a lot of time in the field. We are carrying out some experiments to find out how these forests will respond to drought. These studies will allow us to predict the future of our forests in a climate change scenario. and to develop the best possible strategies to manage and preserve them.
The challenges in physics involve controlling and understanding the quantum world. The development of a quantum computer will allow us to perform tasks which are not possible with present computers. We will also develop new communication methods which will be much more efficient and secure than the ones that we have now.
I've been in Barcelona for the last 4 years working on novel materials towards developing organic light-emitting devices. Organic materials are materials very similar to plastic and offer many advantages because they're so cheap, they're easy to fabricate and allow simple technology. The main motivation of this work is to create flexible displays based on these materials.
I came to Barcelona to work with optics and neurons, and my institute gave me the opportunity to work in neurophotonics. Neurophotonics uses the science and technology of photonics in neuroscience, neurosurgery, and medical neurology. Right now I am trying to find out a procedure to repair severed neurons using lasers. Hopefully, it will allow surgeons in near future to fix spinal cord injuries and other related illness.
The sequencing of the human genome has launched a new era in the history of scientific discovery. The knowledge we will gain will change the concept of health and diseases. And the knowledge we will gain will help our scientists at the Karolinska Institute and around the world to find new tools for diagnostics and treatment of devastating diseases like cancer.
I'm a computer scientist and I work in a biology lab here in Barcelona, close to the sea. I study limb development. I work on a computer program to standardize and quantify limb development. This is important to our own research, but it may also become useful for study abnormalities in limb development, for drug development, for example.
I came to Barcelona 3 years ago to work at the Parc Científic in order to study how cells behave and they become organs during embryonic development. This is a very important process to study because it will tell us more about how human embryos develop, but also how cells can become cancerous.
Cancer research over the past 30 years has produced many advances in the prevention, diagnosis, and treatment of this complex disease. And while much remains to be done, this progress is indicative of the kind of advances that we may expect in the coming decades. The first half of the 21st century could be the time when this disease has brought to the same level of control as infectious diseases were brought in the 20th century.
For the last 3 years, I have been working in University of Pompeu Fabra on characterization of inhibitory and activating receptors that are expressed by the cells of innate immune system. Analysis of their structure, distribution, and function is revealing new aspects on the regulation of the immune response, and it may provide clues to better understand the pathophysiology of immune disorders.
Mixing and mingling the young and more experienced scientists that you've just heard speak with international partners, policymakers, stakeholders and the journalists building a platform for the development of a strong European science corporate identity. This is one of the aims.
As President of Euroscience, I'm very proud to present the third edition of the Euroscience Open Forum, on this occasion organized with the Catalan Foundation for Research and Innovation. When preparing this event, we have kept in mind the principles for which Euroscience was founded, and therefore I hope you will find the forum a place to meet, a place to debate, and a place to build bridges with society. I do hope that you will enjoy the program we have prepared for you, and most especially for the young generations.